Hey Lancers, welcome to the second episode of the Hatch newspaper podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about waste at school and like in the CAF. And I'm Manja, and I have
Liette
with me.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about, like you said, waste at school. Definitely majority of it is in the CAF, I think, or most prevalently, yeah.
I'd say so, probably.
Okay, so I think just to hop right into it, straws. And
oh my gosh.
We might not be taking the angle you suspect we're going to be taking because I am so mad about the straws. Okay, so in the school, if you guys don't know, they have quote-unquote banned straws by not having a little cup of straws, I guess, out at...
I thought I heard that you can still ask for straws.
Yeah.
But overall, they're like not handing them out.
Yeah, which I think is kind of ridiculous considering that there's like no waste bin and there's still so many other single-use plastics in the CAF, but they're like, well, we're not giving away straws easily anymore.
See, but yeah, I mean, it's not as if it's hard to ask for a straw, so you can still ask for one and get one. Like,
yeah.
It's still like, you still have those plastics there. It's not as if they've actually gotten rid of them, right?
Yeah, and I think I'm not like trying to like say anything bad about the school at all, but I think it's kind of like a cover up for the consumption that we use here at the school, and like all schools, I'm sure, is just the same, but...
It's a conspiracy.
But it's kind of like they're like...
Yeah, they're doing like a magic trick, like a magician.
Yeah.
Like, you have the audience like looking at one thing, like all like, oh, look at me here.
Like
but
the straw ban.
But then like down, like in your other hand, you're actually like switching cards or something like that. And,
yeah.
Like,
it's all
deceiving people.
All the other
Which,
plastics.
that sounds a lot like worse than it's supposed to be. But I mean, I think it's just, yeah, like there are still plastics being used, and that's like the quote unquote deception, I guess.
But I also think like the media does that a lot too, right? Like they're like,
yeah.
Straws are such like a bad thing to have in the oceans, and like any plastic of course is bad to have in the oceans, but
sure.
They see the pictures of the turtles and the fish with the straws in them, and I'm
or
like,
even just seeing photos of whales with the amount of plastic in their stomachs.
Exactly. But that's why I'm kind of confused why we put so much emphasis on straws and banning straws when like straws don't even make up that much of the plastic in the oceans. It's like the bags and the other single-use plastics. Like, I guess I don't know why they put such an emphasis on the straws. I guess because they're so easy to use.
Or even if they put such an emphasis, why it's not actually completely followed through with.
Yeah. I guess they don't want to waste the straws, but I guess we could have disposed it in a better manner. I'm not sure of that. And another thing that kind of goes along with the straws is that there's just so many single-use plastics in the CAF specifically. Like, we have, like, the forks and the knives, and we have, like, the cellophane that everyth's wrapped in.
Or even just the containers that stuff comes in, too.
Yeah.
Like if you get a sandwich. I mean, I don't actually buy anything from the CAF, but just stuff that I've seen.
Yeah, because there's that freezer, right? And there's all those drinks and all those sandwiches and wraps, I'm pretty sure.
And I mean, single-use plastics are just everywhere. Like, both of us work in the deli at Foodland, and, like, so much plastic consumption everywhere. Like, you just can't escape it. So it's, yeah.
It's like people think that they're cleaner, and, like, they could be cleaner, but they could also not be cleaner. And it just, why not be, like, cleaner for the environment, but without using these single-use plastics? And I'm not against using, like, Tupperware plastic, like, at all.
No, I mean, like, at this point, like, what else are you going to put it in? Like,
yeah, like you could use glass or bamboo leaves, but that's not as easy as Tupperware containers. Yeah. But just the single-use plastics, I think, are such a problem. And I think a lot of high school students, it's just a lot easier for them to go to the side of the CAF and put in the dumpster rather than the recycling bin.
Well, I mean, I know for when we've had lunch, like with friends and stuff, everybody just like puts it all in a yogurt container, like any plastic or garbage or anything, and just slides it down off into the garbage can.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's just easy.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that myself, unfortunately, but it's so much easier to throw it in the garbage because there's so much of it that you're not going to pull it apart and then put some of it in the garbage, put some of it in the recycling. Yeah. And then there's the food concept of it. So there's no green bins in the cafeteria.
No, and I still find that ridiculous that, I mean, I've talked to the principal, and he said that he was going to be talking to other principals or something about it, and so, like, nothing happens. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, obviously you don't know how that process goes.
Yeah, so I mean, and obviously like you need to get people to do it. So it comes down to people taking the responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the custodians have so much to do already. So like.
Yeah, because you're telling me that not only would the kids themselves have to like empty out their food and put in the green bin, but then someone has to take those green bin containers and bring it.
First you need to make sure that it's like food scraps and like napkins and muffin like wrappers, like those are kind of things that you can put in there, which I know with EDSS there will definitely be other garbage put in there that's not supposed to be in there, so then you have to go through and make sure that's not in there. And then in terms of the bags and stuff, you would have to make sure that people don't like dump stuff down the side so it's not like actually in the bag. And then green bin day is on Friday, I believe, so you'd have to take the green bins out like the night before or like after school before Friday, and then like bring them back in on Friday. And then if they get dirty, you have to like clean them all out. So it gets to be a big job.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it's necessary. Like I'm sure that seems like a daunting task for just like one student.
Can you imagine though, like if we had green bins and if people recycled, how much, like honestly, you could probably replace all the garbage cans at the end with recycling bins, and then that big recycling bin with a garbage can instead. And probably you would have much less garbage consumption and everything to throw out.
Yeah, like I know for the township that they only collect garbage now every other week opposed to every week, and I think that could be accomplished here at the school.
Well, that's like kind of an incentive to like waste less.
Yeah, exactly, and recycle more. And that's another thing. I don't think recycling is super encouraged at the school necessarily. Like I know there are recycling bins like in every classroom and in the CAF, but it's kind of like, oh, we don't really care, though, if you put the recycling in the garbage, which I'm not saying, like, kids should get in trouble for putting it, but I do definitely think that it should be more encouraged in how you do that.
And making sure that straws don't end up in the recycling, because they cannot, they're plastic, but they can't be recycled because they just can't. Like, it doesn't, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how you'd maybe, like, promote recycling more, but I think that it's not nearly promoted enough at this school. And like as we were talking about the single-use plastics, there's like a lot of like the cellophane we were talking about and the napkins and how like I think a lot of people just don't even know if that is recyclable. Like I'm
pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, the cellophane. I know napkins like
sorry, I was thinking of plastic wrap, like because I don't think that is.
Yeah, well, napkins are like green bin. They can go in green bin.
Definitely.
And then cellophane, if you're not sure what that is, it's like saran wrap, but like a little bit crunchier.
Well, like I don't know. I feel like it's almost like a hybrid of like wrapping paper mixed with like saran wrap or something.
Yeah.
Not
like,
quite, but like.
What's wrapped in it? Like muffins, like those brownie muffins, and
I feel like the cookies come in them,
the cookies,
right?
Yeah. And like I don't know if that's recyclable. I don't know if that can go in the garbage. So I think it's just like also like educating us more too.
Well, I feel like I know we have some signs up around the school of like what can go in a green bin and stuff, but we don't have green bins in the CAF, so that's kind of useless information because it's not being used. But also, it would make a lot of sense if we had like the posters that actually like related to the school and had the plastics that can be recycled and can't be recycled, because like they have a list of stuff that can and can't be, except it doesn't have the cellophane on it and everything. So
yeah, and also just like where they are. Like I didn't know where the green bins were at all before you told me, but there are always green bins at the school, just not in the school.
They are out the doors off of where the CAF are.
So, like, near the math office and stuff, like, out that door, they're green, and you can just, like, you could potentially just use those, right? Or are there no bags in those?
There aren't any bags. I mean, if you were to buy bags and, like, bring them to school, like, I mean, because that was an idea I had, I would just do it. I figured I could just, like, do it on Thursdays, and then, one day a week it would be in the CAF and everything.
So then, even if you did want to take that extra step and, like, dispose of your, like, food, you couldn't because there's no bags.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I know another thing. Sorry, were you?
Well, no, I was just gonna say. I mean, I get that it's a big task to do all of that, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like it's just down to
who cares,
students taking initiative and actually like caring that we need to clean up after ourselves and everything.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I know another thing we want to talk about was the use of the single-use like cutlery and stuff in the CAF, because there's like the forks, the knives, the spoons by the microwaves, And I don't know what about that just annoys me so much because of how easy it is to bring your own fork, your own knife, your own spoon to school. Like, you could just
frustrating to go anywhere and, like, see those, yeah.
You could just, like, easily have that in your bag, like, and just wipe it off with, like, a napkin or
just
whatever
wash it in the bathroom, like.
Yeah. And I know you're talking about there are alternatives to plastic.
Yeah, there are, like, biodegradable, like, spoons, forks, and knives and stuff. So, I mean, I know that before you put them out or anything, you need to, like, keep them, like, refrigerated and, like, at a specific temperature. But I mean, it's not as if that's a challenging task. And then, you know, you would just put a certain amount out and make sure that they're all used.
Or we could just do the same as the straws and you have to request those too. Yeah. Because they're like,
I mean, I feel like that makes way more sense. Like, it just, you know.
Even if they started doing that with the regular plastic cutlery they have now, just encouraging people, bring your own, like, we don't want to buy any more of these. We're just going to, like, finish off what we have, and then you're going to be out of luck if you don't have anything.
Yeah, it's just frustrating for all of these plastics because, like, it really just comes down to students, like, just, again, taking initiative. Like, you know, take care of, like, yourself and, like,
where you
bring
live.
Your own stuff.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's mad at the staff for not providing these things or lack of providing things. I think we're just mad at each other, basically, for like, how little it takes to care and how little people actually do care.
I know I get kind of frustrated when, I mean, I've become much more, like,
aware.
Conscious.
Yeah,
and of just kind of, if I'm going to use plastic, like, put it in the recycling, or even just decline. Like, I know some restaurants just, like, completely ban straws, but I personally always ask to not get a straw, because, I mean, you don't need a straw to drink out of glass.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just, like, little things like that, and it's just kind of frustrating that, for me, I found that if I tell somebody, like, you know, just use a reusable water bottle, like, I often get kind of, like, pushback, and people get kind of annoyed that I'm saying not to use single-use plastics.
I think that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, like, you think you're better than me because
I mean, I guess
don't use single-use plastics, but, like, at the end of the day, it's like, no, I just don't want my oceans to be filled with 98% plastic.
I mean, somebody's mom one time commented on how, like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was something like, oh, like, you're so great for doing this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm really not at all. This is just, you should naturally be doing this. Like,
and it's kind of like the bare minimum, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going out buying anything. You're not, like, using renewable energy.
You buy, like, a metal water bottle and it lasts you forever, like, if you take care of it properly.
Yeah.
As opposed to using, like, hundreds of thousands of plastic water bottles.
Or even take, like, a small step, and if you use a new plastic water bottle every day, just try to use one every 3 days and refill it. Like, it's just small steps like that, and then you can go to a week and then just buy normal plastic reusable water bottle, you know? I think, it just educating people and, like, encouraging people, and maybe even, like, at a certain point start to reward people that do these things. Because I know it's not, like, a huge thing to do, but it also seems daunting to a lot of people. So I think just, like, in general, the CAF and the school, and
I guess it's kind of, like, went off from just the CAF, but I mean, you kind of have to. It's a bigger issue than just the CAF.
Definitely. And just encourage everyone to be less wasteful. And my mom was telling me it's, like, originally reduce, reuse, recycle, but now it's, like, refuse.
Yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle. Which, I mean, makes sense to me,
Definitely,
I
think.
Yeah.
So, I think with that comes to the end of our second podcast.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're interested in, I don't know, just using less plastic, like, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There are just so many alternatives to.
Yeah.
I mean, we have such advanced technology. Like, we can figure this all out. It's just a matter of if we care enough to.
Yeah, so let's take the initiative now before we have to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and refuse.
Reduce,
recycle.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.